A former CEO of JP Morgan's investment bank has been discussing or is even featured in a painting of Snow White. What's going on that island? Let me know in the comments and chat if you regard this to be an occultist or primarily financial endeavor.
We have this stack of money. It says JP Morgan and Chase. We have this creepy man and he's standing in his boxers with no shirt on. He has his finger over his mouth and he's going shh. We also see that there's a mirror facing the bed and the girl that's lying in the bed is dressed as Snow White. If you go to look up the term Snow White in the Epstein library, you will get some results. One of those results is an email exchange between Jess Stolle and Jeffrey Epstein. Jess says to Jeffrey Epstein on July 9th, 2010, "That was fun. Say hi to Snow White." Jeffrey Epstein responded by saying, "What character do you want next?" Now, fun little fact about Jess is that he worked at JP Morgan and Chase between 1990 and 2013. And if you search up his name on Google Images, you'll find an image of him with his finger over his mouth. Maybe I'm crazy for thinking this, but the guy in this painting looks so much like Jess.
I mean, I'd say it looks directly like that painting has come from precisely the image that's been pulled. Those Epstein files, I suppose, on a perusal as deep as I've been able to provide, seem like they demonstrate that many of the dismissed conspiracy theories like pizza and hot dogs and Coca-Cola and innocuous code words used to describe sex acts with children appears not to be a highfalutin conspiracy, but sort of almost the basis for all of their comms. I saw that around the period of 9/11, the immediate time before and after, there's a sudden dearth of availability of material. And what the Epstein files really does, as we've said many times on this show, is it draws the silhouette around the shape of global power. It shows you once and for all, like that brilliant email I saw from a sort of a Syrian journalist and analyst of Syrian politics. He said that for a long time we've had this sense that what we see on the political stage is not really how power operates, and the Epstein files helps you to understand that there are indeed secondary and tertiary sources of power that are much more impactful than the sort of characters we're all invested in. And he even included tech billionaires in that. And to tell you the truth, that's what died in the wall, tie-dyed in the wall, crackers, old reptilian fearing conspiracy theorists like David Icke have been saying for a very, very long time.
Jeffrey Epstein is talking about pandemic planning to someone named Bill, whose name is redacted. It's like, why are you redacting the guy's name that you're talking about planning for a pandemic, like what to do in response to a pandemic? Well, why is his name retracted?
Why would it be? Let me know in the comments and chat. Over here in the free world, we can chit and chat. But how are our beloved friends, the Chinese, consuming all this?
So here's the uncomfortable truth the West does not want to face. The Epstein archive is not just one file on one criminal. It is a CT scan of the whole system. The courts, the banks, the politicians, even some academic institutions. Not evil in some movie sense, silent partners in real world sense. Silent through doing nothing, through convenient forgetfulness, through the quiet belief that some men are too powerful to ever be brought down. And yet these same institutions continue to grade the rest of the world on human rights, continue to issue report cards on judicial reform, continue to act as if they're the world's moral judge. The lease on that high ground has run out.
That's pretty good, I would say. But of course, you know, China have got skin in the game because they're a near-peer world power. It's like when you watch Al Jazeera to try and get a better perspective on British news or Russia Today. Yeah, it's interesting. Like the claim that's made about independent media, that you can't trust it, that it's misinformation, I think is extraordinarily and supremely true of centralised media, because centralised or nationalised media, whether you're talking about the BBC or Russian or Islamic or Chinese state media, it has already been centralised. It has a solid and concrete purview. Independent media by its nature is a diffuse mosaic of various and competing voices, where I think you can somewhat aggregate a type of truth from it. I mean, I suppose I watch a different type of independent media to you, huh? Because we're all fed whatever our algorithms feed us. But what I would say is, when it comes to looking at proportional veracity, state media is going to be a lot less reliable than independent media, not more. And that's what the majority of people have realized. And that's why newspapers are in extraordinary trouble. That's why televisual, broadcast, conventional media is in trouble, because their primary function has always been control and spellbind, whether that's through entertainment artifacts like, movies and entertainment TV, whether it's been through the pushing of commodity and commercial entities, or its role as the purveyor of state-sanctioned news. It's always got another bias. Whereas independent media, once in a while you'll get Candace Owens or you'll get Ben Shapiro. I'm not making claims for the individual, actually, because they're human beings and they're all flawed and they're all broken and they all make mistakes and they'll all let you down. But collectively, say if you watch a little bit of Jimmy Dore, then you watch someone, I don't know, Sam Cedar or Owen Jones. I'm deliberately selecting people from what you would regard as the left. Or if you start to gain more and more access to spiritual material online, you start to recognize that the world that as rendered through MSNBC or Fox or the BBC is not a world that you can rely on, and it's certainly not a world you should live in. It's a world that wants to sell you certain products and wants you to be obedient and complacent. And I'm a participator in independent media, and I don't want you to be obedient or complacent. I want you to be awake, rebellious against systems of man, and devoted to the system of God. You might be lacking in testosterone. I'm not. I've got testosterone coming out of my bottom, which in itself is a problem. The average male testosterone levels have been quietly declining, and according to the Cleveland Clinic, nearly 1 in 10 men over 50 now have clinically low testosterone. So guys, if you're in your early to mid 40s, it's already declining. But here's the problem. Low T's is often defined as under 300 nanograms per deciliter, meaning you can still be labelled as normal and feel anything but normal, because you're basically a lady now. Low libido, low energy, mood swings, gorgeous breasts, gaining fat, losing muscles, vaginas appearing all over you, brain fog, poor sleep, hair loss again, prioritize that. We are taught that this is just part of life, but it's actually your hormones saying, help a brother out, man. Look at me. I'm going weak. I'm weak as whiskey. Injections and prescriptions can be expensive and have harsh side effects, like you can't have kids anymore, so be careful of that, My go-to is Mars from the Wellness Company. Mars is a non-injectable, hormone-free formula designed to support your body's own testosterone production. No prescriptions, no synthetic hormones, no needles. It combines clinically backed ingredients like Tonkat Ali, I love that guy, Shilajit, Tribulus, horny goatweed, grow up, boron and zinc. This unique combo reduces supplement intake quantity and supports energy, stamina, confidence and sexual health. Power your performance. Restore your edge. Go to twc.health/brand and use the code BRAND to get 10% off. That's right. Use the code BRAND to get 10% off. Natural testosterone support. So the Epstein Files continues to demonstrate that there are centralized forces that are elite that try to obfuscate their real connection to power. And while we're all down here eating Doritos and scratching at ourselves like vermin, they're getting on with the real business of running the world. It doesn't have to be that way anymore. We can create systems of localized control and transparent communication using the great gifts of technology, decoupled from oligarchy. The only way we're ever going to do that is if we're willing to submit at the level of the individual to the supreme truth of Christ. Even if you can't and don't want to and refuse to submit to Christ, you have to join with the people that are coming from that perspective, because the alternative, secularism, materialism, rationalism, you now know where that's going. There can be no doubt. Technology is not going to save you. Medicine is not going to save you. Pleasure is not going to save you. Vice is not going to save you. The only thing that can save you is Him. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments and the chat.
Thanks for watching the video. Have a look at this one over here, or join us Monday, Wednesday and Friday on Rumble.